Part 119. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1183. 1182. Coach Wang and Zhu's Hitayo are in a competitive relationship, and naturally they don't want Zhu's Hitayo to perform better than him. Well, when you have time, go talk to Jiaolihong and let her play with peace of mind and don't think about those messy things, Coach Wang said, not taking it to heart. Xiao Jian was stunned for a moment, then said immediately, yes, Coach Wang. But it's just words, and you don't care. If you don't go and tell Jiaolihong in person, I will tell you, and Jiaolihong won't listen to me. Jiaolihong was usually very pushy, so he didn't like it. Coach Wang is gone, and Xiao Jian doesn't want to meddle in other people's business. After Jiaolihong went back, she locked herself in the room. When it was time for dinner in the evening, Cai Fenfang gave Jiaolihong a meal, knocked on the door and said, Jiaolihong, it's time for dinner. We have your favorite steak tonight. Jiaolihong lay on the bed and did not answer. I put it on the table outside for you. Come out and have something to eat, Cai Fenfang said. I want to read some books in the evening, so I'll go out first. After a long time, Jiaolihong got up to eat. What should I do? She couldn't bear it anymore. Should she take action? If you don't take action, the competition date will come soon, and it will be even more difficult to take action. But if she takes action, there are many people around He Tian, and she can't find a chance. Jiaolihong was thinking while eating. When she was taking a shower at night, she suddenly thought of a good idea. Maybe this is a good idea. After that, Jiaolihong began to prepare. He Tian knew nothing and concentrated on preparing for the competition. After every training, He Tian had to take a shower before leaving. He Tian put all the toiletries in the cabinet and locked it. I took a shower and felt very comfortable. He Tian went home from get off work, but halfway, she felt a little uncomfortable on her skin, with some red spots on it. She thought it was prickly heat. But when she got home, He Tian found that the small bumps on her arms had turned into blisters, and they were also very itchy. Mom, do you think I have a skin allergy on my arm? He Tian asked. I didn't eat anything special today or go to a dirty place. How could I have a skin allergy? Zhang Lifang was stunned and frowned. Your skin looks like it's allergic, but it's not like it. What should we do? He Tian was a little anxious. Let's go to the hospital. Zhang Lifang nodded and said, however, it is best to talk to your team doctor and ask him to go to the hospital. After all, some skin allergies require the use of some antibiotics and hormones. He Tian nodded and was about to make a call when he saw Huo Yingzhe coming. Huo Yingzhe was frightened when he saw He Tian's arm, frowned and asked, what's going on? I didn't know I had a skin allergy, He Tian said, but I didn't eat randomly or go anywhere else. I don't know the reason yet. Huo Yingzhe squinted his eyes and looked carefully at He Tian's arm. He could see some dense insects crawling around on the blisters, but ordinary people couldn't see them at all. Mom, you take care of the baby at home, and I'll take Tian to the hospital, Huo Yingzhe said. He wanted to treat He Tian himself, but his mother didn't know what he was doing. Okay, I'll be at home. You take Tian to the hospital. By the way, you have to call Tian's team doctor. Tian can't take medicine casually now, Zhang Lifang reminded, lest she use some medicine and fail the drug test. Huo Yingzhe nodded and said, I understand. When they got to the car, He Tian asked in a low voice, Yingzhe, am I on the right track? Yes, Huo Yingzhe said, this is a kind of bug. Without heavy doses of antibiotics and some very special drugs, it is impossible to kill the bacteria on it. Oh my God, if that's the case, I will definitely fail the drug test tomorrow, He Tian said in surprise. Then what should we do now? I'm here, Huo Yingzhe said, taking out the ointment from the space and applying it to He Tian. Xie Wu and Zhang Ning were driving in front, but at this time they had no idea what Huo Yingjia and He Tian were doing. After He Tian applied green ointment on her wrist, she suddenly felt cool, and no longer itched. She almost couldn't help but scratch it before. But I was worried about scratching and damaging the skin, so I kept holding on. Oh, I finally feel comfortable, He Tian said. Brother Yingjia, I think I'm allergic. It's not that simple. Someone must have framed me. He Tian is not a teenage girl, so she naively thinks this is a coincidence. Huo Yingjia smiled and said, maybe your grades are too good and others are jealous of you, or maybe you are blocking others' way. It's actually very simple. I'll bandage it for you later, and then you can take a urine test tomorrow. Whoever reacts the most is the one who did it? Yes, He Tian nodded. I am eating with other people today. Others are fine, but I am in trouble, so it is targeted at me, and it is not because of what I eat, so I can only start with what I use. He Tian thought about it carefully, and suddenly her eyes widened, and she said, in addition to eating there, I just take a shower and go to the toilet. When I go to the toilet, I have to squat. There is no direct contact, so I can only do it on my toiletries. Article. Brother Yingjia, do you think someone put something inappropriate in my toiletries? Huo Yingjia listened and nodded, it's very possible. Let Kui Ying put those things away tomorrow, and I'll find someone to check. If you find out who it is tomorrow, you must pay attention. Well, I will pay attention, He Tian said, and I will report it with my real name and let the team investigate. Huo Yingjia smiled and said, well, let me help you too. How can you help me? He Tian was surprised. What good idea do you have? Haha, it's a secret. You'll know tomorrow, Huo Yingjia said with a smile. After making a lot of money outside, the blisters on He Tian's wrists had disappeared and they were fair and clean again. When she went back, Zhang Lifang saw that He Tian's hand was bandaged and asked, you didn't use any drugs that are not suitable for athletes, right? No, Huo Yingjia said, the team doctor said it can be used. That's good, Zhang Lifang said, the children have already eaten and are watching TV. You should go to bed early. Yes, Mom, Huo Yingjia said. When He Tian saw her mother-in-law leaving, she whispered, after my mother-in-law came, all the household affairs were left to her, and I suddenly felt much more relaxed. Wouldn't this be better? You can concentrate on the competition, Huo Yingjia said. Don't worry, my mother and I are responsible for family matters. As for the swimming team matters, I will let Kui Ying investigate them as soon as possible. Well, thank you, Brother Yingjia, He Tian smiled, very relieved. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 1184. 1183. Early the next morning, He Tian had breakfast and went to check up, and met Jiao Lihong on the way. Jiao Lihong didn't turn around and leave when she saw He Tian as usual. Instead, she looked at He Tian's wrist thoughtfully, and was even more happy when she saw the gauze on He Tian's wrist. Come on, let's go check it out, Jiao Lihong smiled, walking lightly, holding Cai Fenfang's arm and walking forward quickly. He Tian was confused, but thinking about what happened last night, she became more cautious. Many tests could not produce results on the spot, so He Tian went to training with Zhu's Hitao. Although her results are very good, she is facing powerful figures in the world, so He Tian must work harder to win the gold medal with absolute strength. At noon, He Tian had lunch, stayed to rest, and then trained in the afternoon. After getting the results, no one failed to check. He Tian is qualified, the team doctor said, you can participate in the competition. What? Jiao Lihong exclaimed. He Tian had obviously been bandaged, and her grandma told her that those things would be useful. Cai Fenfang was stunned, as if she had guessed something. It was probably Jiao Lihong who took action, but it seemed unsuccessful. He Tian turned her head, looked at Jiao Lihong, and smiled coldly. It was so simple to find the person who would do it. Without Huo Yingji's medicine, she might have failed the test and would not be able to participate in the competition, and all her previous efforts would have been in vain. Although she didn't attach much importance to gold medals before, in order to set a good example for her children, she wanted to get the best. But now some people are using tricks on her, so don't blame her for being rude. Registration for competition events is about to begin, and He Tian is ready to register for everything Jiao Lihong is good at. Anyway, she has participated in many competitions in the past 2 years, so she can definitely do this. Seeing everyone staring at her, Jiao Lihong smiled and said, "After that, we can compete together." When she said this, she felt angry and sad. Kui Ying took her toiletries to check. He Tian had already guessed that it was Jiao Lihong, but there was no evidence. The next morning, as expected, a defect was found in the toiletries, so He Tian decided to give some people some counter-attack so that they would not get gold medals and get good results. When the time comes, take a look at the scene of them lying on the edge of the swimming pool in pain. During the afternoon training, He Tian found Zhu's Hitao and said, "This is the project I want to sign up for." Zhu's Hitao looked at it, was startled, and asked, "Are you going to apply for 8 items?" He Tian nodded and said, "Yes, the schedule has been arranged. I checked the time and it should be possible to stagger it." Zhu's Hitao was very happy. Of course he hoped that He Tian would participate in more events and win more championships. Previously, He Tian was only willing to sign up for 5 events, which also included team relay competitions. There were a few projects. He and Coach Wu personally talked to He Tian, but He Tian was unwilling to overpay. I wonder why he was willing to overpay now. "That's great," Zhu's Hitao said, "don't worry, I will make arrangements for you. As for your physical strength, you have to pay attention to it. If your physical strength cannot keep up, you can abstain when the time comes." He Tian smiled and said, "It's okay. I will try my best, just wait until you are named a super brand coach." Zhu's Hitao was very happy to hear this, but he was more concerned about why He Tian changed and asked, "Teacher He, can you tell me why you changed your decision?" "Haha, it's actually very simple," He Tian said. "Before, I applied for some things that other team members were not good at, and wanted to give some opportunities to other team members. But others obviously couldn't see my good intentions, and they actually treated me. They used some messy methods and added some bad things to our toiletries, which caused my skin allergies. Fortunately, my mother-in-law introduced me to an old Chinese medicine doctor who used traditional Chinese medicine instead of antibiotics and other drugs that were not suitable for athletes." He Tian explained, letting Zhu's Hitao prepare himself not to be sold out and count money for others. Zhu's Hitao was stunned, stood up hurriedly, and said, "Who is it? When did it happen?" He Tian is a very important part of his career. Without He Tian, perhaps his career would only be here and there would not be much progress. Therefore, Zhu's Hitao must not allow anything to happen to He Tian. "It was the day before yesterday," He Tian said, "but there is no proof, and I don't know who did it, but it was just someone from our team." "This is envy, jealousy, and hatred," Zhu's Hitao said through gritted teeth, thinking carefully about who would do such a thing. "Teacher He, do you think it could be Jiao Lihong?" He Tian said in surprise, "Huh? You guessed it was her. She is the most ambitious. Although she works hard and has talent, she is not good compared to you. It may be difficult to win a gold medal, but there is still a lot of hope for silver and bronze medals." Zhu's Hitao said, "I saw it several times. She looked at me with that resentful look, and Coach Wang was also resentful because Coach Wu assigned you to me, so I guessed it was them at first reaction. They attacked me because they hoped that I would fail the drug test and not let me compete, He Tian said. However, I have already thought about this, so I used traditional Chinese medicine. When the test results came out yesterday, Xiao Lihong was very surprised. She looked like she knew it, so I guessed it was her. When Zhu's Hitayo heard this, he nodded and said, well, it's very possible. Since there is no evidence, we have no way to go to her to argue. That Xiao Lihong has an uncle who is very domineering. When he was in the local team, he excluded other players, but don't be afraid, I'll talk to Coach Wu. Take your toiletries with you in the future, and be careful not to let the food out of your sight when you eat. Well, I understand, He Tian nodded, without any evidence. Zhu's Hitayo really couldn't conduct a high-profile investigation, but it was necessary to make a small report. I will report all these projects to you, and you should work hard. Although there is no evidence for us to deal with those people, as long as their hopes are dashed, it is the best revenge for them, Zhu's Hitayo said coldly, comforting He Tian. He Tian has many ways to deal with Xiao Lihong. Even though there is no evidence, she doesn't want to do that. She wants to deal with Xiao Lihong openly. After He Tian left, Zhu's Hitayo went directly to Coach Wu to talk to him about the matter and reported to him the harmful ingredients in He Tian's toiletries. Silver Fox Xiaoyun's, the Major General's beloved wife, is a must-tell story between Major General Bingshan and the little Taoist nun who is a top student. Marriage first, then love, sweet pampering from heaven. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1185. 1184. Head coach Wu heard Zhu's Hitayo's report and called the team doctor to come over. Look, if this kind of thing gets on the skin, will it cause skin allergies? Coach Wu asked. This was handed over by He Tian in private. He couldn't make any big claims until he had investigated it clearly. Team Dr. Li took it and took a look at it, nodded and said, yes, this is a harmful substance secreted by a bug in the southwestern mountainous area. It must be treated with powerful antibiotics and ephedrine drugs. If so, the drug test will definitely fail. What is this and why is it here? If you are infected and take the medicine by mistake, you will be out of luck. Seeing that Team Dr. Li was not an outsider, Coach Wu said, this was found in He Tian's toiletries. We haven't found out who did it yet. Team Dr. Li was stunned for a moment and then realized that someone was probably jealous of He Tian's results. So what's going on with Teacher He now? Team Dr. Li asked. This is very troublesome. Once it comes into contact with the skin, there will be a reaction. But when I gave Teacher He a routine checkup, I found nothing unusual. Coach Wu said, Teacher He's arm was a little strange, but it has been cured. Instead of antibiotics, she used Chinese ointment. As for the ointment, she didn't tell me what kind of ointment it was. That should be the secret medicine, Team Dr. Li said. If this happens now, there may be a second time, so what should we do now? Coach Wu thought for a while and said, if something like this happens, I will naturally investigate it carefully. I may not be able to find out, but I will also put psychological pressure on those with ulterior motives to prevent her from taking action again. Well, this is indeed a method, Team Dr. Li said. Hey, Teacher He is the hope of our swimming team, but nothing can happen. It seems that we have to send more manpower, especially to the locker room, canteen, bathroom, and other places. Yes, Coach Wu said, I feel that nothing can happen to He Tian. That is a gold medal. Since we started participating in the Los Angeles Games in 1984, our swimming team has not performed well. He Tian is our favorite to win the championship. If she is good, our swimming team will have results. If she is not, we will have no results. Team Dr. Lee naturally understood this and said, "Yes, I understand this. Having a championship will be completely different from not having a championship in other sports in the future. Look at those shooting teams and diving teams, they are awesome and get a lot of resources, unlike their swimming team, which is so frustrating. He is inferior in front of others and does not receive many resources. All this requires the performance of an Olympic champion to change." After that, Coach Wu held a meeting and asked all departments to conduct major inspections. Once illegal items are found, they will be immediately confiscated and penalties will be imposed. Jiao Lihong was a little panicked these days, but after a major inspection for several days, she was not found, so she felt relieved. Cai Fenfang was very disappointed when she saw this. Jiao Lihong is really useless, He Tiantian is fine, and Jiao Lihong is fine too. In this case, should she take action? But thinking about the recent limelight, Cai Fenfang didn't dare. Zhu's Hitao applied for all the projects. As long as it was the project that Jiao Lihong and Cai Fenfang applied for, He Tiantian applied for it. They were not qualified to apply for it, but He Tiantian still applied for it. When Jiao Lihong saw He Tianation's registration form, she felt bad. On the one hand, she knew that He Tianation's results would definitely weigh on her, and she had no chance of winning. On the other hand, she always felt that the way He Tiantian looked at her was a little strange, as if she had discovered something. After all, she had done something before. I feel guilty and a little guilty. Cai Fenfang was also stunned. She specializes in butterfly and breaststroke. He Tiantian had applied for breaststroke and freestyle before, but now He Tiantian also applied for the events she applied for. Thinking of this, Cai Fenfang broke out in a cold sweat. She understood why He Tiantian looked at her like that. He Tiantian probably guessed that it was Jiao Lihong who did it, and even got a little angry at her. However, Cai Fenfang had another guess. Perhaps He Tiantian thought she was involved and took the opportunity to teach her a lesson. If I had known that Jiao Lihong would fail more than succeed, it would be better not to take action. He Tiantian would not be so crazy about participating in so many projects. Seeing that the national team is ready, they will set off immediately. Huo Yingji's status, let alone going abroad, requires a report, so Huo Yingji can't go. However, Huo Yingji can't go publicly, but he can go privately, leaving a clone to follow He Tiantian as He Tianation's bodyguard. He can not only protect He Tiantian, but also be with He Tiantian. Travel. The children were on summer vacation and originally wanted to go to South Korea to watch the Olympics and cheer for He Tiantian, but for safety reasons, Mr. Huo disagreed. But to compensate, they can watch TV and live broadcasts with them at home. "Mom, my great-grandfather didn't let us go, so we can only watch TV at home." Huo Ruimin felt a little aggrieved. She really wanted to go. He Tiantian knew why he couldn't go. Huo Yingji's identity was too important, especially now that he was a cutting-edge scientific research talent. If something happened, it would be a huge loss to the country. Especially when something happened to He Tiantian before, the mastermind has not been found yet, so the best way is not to go abroad. "Okay, it just so happens that you guys have also started school," He Tiantian said. "You have to go to school and you can't ask for leave. Even if you can't watch the live broadcast, you can also record it and watch it at home." He Tiantian explained, "You are the big sister, has been great, helping me take care of my younger brothers and sisters. From now on, you have to watch over them when mom is not at home, okay?" "Yeah, I will." Huo Ruimin nodded. "Mom, don't worry, I will take care of my brothers and sisters." He Tiantian listened and said with a smile, "Yeah, Ruimin is great. Mom, I will also take care of my younger brothers and sisters." Huo Ruwa whispered, "Mom, come on. I will. When you come back, I will give each of you a gold medal." He Tiantian smiled, "I will also buy you gifts." Yeah, the children nodded and gave their mothers a loving hug. Afterwards, he Tian Tian called the little turtle over and said, Xian Xian, I leave the house to you. Mom, don't worry, I will protect my brothers and sisters. Huo Xian Xian is now used to her current identity and calls him he Tian Tian. Huo Yingjia's parents no longer have any mental barriers. He Tian Tian touched the little turtle's head and said, Little Xian Xian is the best. Mommy likes little Xian Xian. Yeah, the little turtle smiled cutely, I like mom too. After explaining to the little spin turtle, he Tian Tian called the Snake King and asked him to come back. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1186. 1185. The Snake King came back from outside and asked, Why did you call me here? Of course I'm looking after the house, he Tian Tian said, the little turtle is watching so many people at home alone. I'm a little worried. You are also at home, helping me take care of the children. When the Snake King heard this, he was speechless and asked, Isn't Huo Yingjia at home? Besides, where is the little spinner turtle? Brother Yingjia will come with me secretly, he Tian Tian smiled, the little turtle is at home, but after all, he is young and has to go to school. I am a little worried at home. I'm a big star now, and you ask me to look after your house. The Snake King rolled his eyes. Besides, you can let Huo Yingjia stay at home while I go abroad with you to protect you. He Tian Tian was stunned for a moment, then reached out and pinched the Snake King's ear, and said, You are my eldest cousin now, and you are helping my cousin look after the house. It is only natural that you can do it, and you can do it if you don't. The Snake King originally wanted to resist, but when he saw Huo Yingjia not far away, he did not dare to resist, so he had to beg for mercy. I'm really scared of you. Okay, I'll stay. It just so happens that I have an announcement in Yanjing recently, you can go home every day. As long as you told me earlier, I won't take action. He Tian Tian smiled and said, I'll leave the house to you, I don't worry. Even though the Snake King was dissatisfied, he had no choice but to agree. After that, he Tian Tian was ready to set off. Huo Yingjia becomes invisible and follows he Tian Tian to South Korea. It's really easy to get on the plane. No need for a plane ticket or security check. It just lies in he Tianation's pocket. This is the energy of God. The golden finger is so big that both humans and gods are angry. When we arrived in South Korea, the advertising slogans at the airport and around them were all advertisements for the Olympic Games. This is a nation with extremely low self-esteem and arrogance. For this time, we can bid to host the Olympic Games, attach great importance to it, and take the opportunity to promote Korean culture. Pickle. He Tian Tian took a few glances at the kimchi and lost her appetite. She still enjoyed the BJ roast duck. Arriving at the Olympic Village, he Tian Tian followed her teammates and coach into the country H area and found their own rooms. Because of the short distance, there is no jet lag. Kui Ying, how does it feel to come to Korea? He Tian Tian asked, feeling a little bored after going out. Kui Ying looked around cautiously and said, last time we had an accident on the way back to South Korea. This time I must be more cautious to prevent another accident. Wei Yuan, who was not far away, felt as if she was facing a formidable enemy. It was estimated that both of them would not be relaxed in Korea and on the way back from Korea. Haha, he Tian Tian smiled and thought of the crash. In the eyes of outsiders, a killer is targeting he Tian Tian. No wonder on the plane, Huo Yingjia said, this time the country dispatched more than 50 people to protect the swimming team, especially her, and made very comprehensive preparations. All the service personnel on the plane were strictly vetted, and they searched the plane inside and out. They only allowed the team members to get on the plane if there were no safety risks. What happened last time was due to our dereliction of duty, Wei Yuan said, we cannot let the same thing happen again. Actually, you don't have to be so nervous. After all, There are many people around us to protect us, He Tian persuaded. The competition will last for several days. If it continues like this, she is worried that these two people will not be able to bear it. In fact, the killer was only one of the reasons for what happened that time, as well as Moye, Xylee, and their bad relationship in the previous life. Fortunately, it has been properly handled, but I don't know what is happening to Moye and Xylee now. Seeing that you are waiting for me, I should be careful, He Tian said, feeling a little sorry. Although she was the victim, she knew that those people were targeting her. Hey, I was born with a black body, I feel innocent just thinking about it. That's the best thing, Wei Yuan said. Wherever you go and what you need to buy, you need to tell the people around you. You must not act alone. Now we must not only guard against killers, but also countries with ulterior motives. Agents sent in, and even teammates who work together. Yes, don't forget about your allergies last time, Kui Ying said, except me and Wei Yuan, you can't drink the water given to you by anyone else. Yes, I've written it down, He Tian nodded, saying that there were indeed many things that needed attention. He Tian took a good rest and adjusted her condition. Jiao Lihong and Cai Fenfang have never dared to show their faces in front of He Tian. Because they felt that many of the staff who came with them this time were not familiar to them, and they looked very difficult to deal with. This time, Jiao Lihong's uncle led the team. Jiao Lihong was a little curious. At night, she quietly came over and asked, what was going on? Director Jiao only got the news when he got on the plane. Seeing his niece coming to ask, he saved him from going to his niece to explain, and said, those are the agents sent from above to ensure that our work can be completed satisfactorily this time, so you must work hard and make sure you don't make any mistakes. Ye Jiao Lihong nodded. Originally, she wanted to trip up He Tian and put some stimulants in the water she drank or the food she ate, but now she really didn't dare, with so many pairs of eyes. Just staring, there is no chance to make a move. Director Jiao remembered that in the materials reported by Coach Wu, someone had put some harmful substances in He Tian's toiletries. At that time, he immediately thought of his niece Jiao Lihong. Lihong, last time your Coach Wu conducted a massive investigation, does that matter have something to do with you? Director Jiao asked, looking at Jiao Lihong seriously, hoping that Jiao Lihong would tell him the truth. No. It's not me. Jiao Lihong retorted subconsciously, but she stuttered because of her guilty conscience. Director Jiao knows her niece. If she hadn't done it, she would have denied it directly, instead of like this. Thinking that He Tian was involved, not only because of the championship gold medal, but also because of the power of the Huo family, made Director Jiao anxious and scared. Is it you? Director Jiao squinted his eyes. If it wasn't you, then I would still ask for the investigation to continue. Don't. Jiao Lihong was very scared when she heard that she wanted to continue the investigation. Stop investigating, it's me. Director Jiao was stunned, she really was this stupid niece. Just for this reason, if she comes to the bureau in the future, she will be a gunman for others. It is better to put her in an ordinary position outside. At least she will not get burned because of her bad brain. Then tell me, why did you do this? Director Jiao asked coldly, do you know how risky this is? The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 1187. 1186. Jiao Lihong's uncle is her biggest support, and she can't let him down. Seeing her uncle angry, Jiao Lihong got anxious and quickly explained, I was very careful, and no one saw it. No one saw it, but it doesn't mean you didn't do it, Director Jiao said coldly. I've told you all the reasons, but why do you still want to go against He Tian? Jiao Lihong lowered her head, her eyes red, and choked up, because as long as He Tian stands in front of me, I can't get the gold medal. This is the case at the World Championships and the Asian Games. I was very depressed, and I just thought that if He Tian couldn't participate in the competition, I could get the championship and the gold medal, and have a place in the domestic sports world. Hearing Jiao Lihong's words, Director Jiao was very angry and scolded, "Stupid. He is only the director of the swimming team now, and he is still thinking about taking advantage of He Tian's participation in the competition this time to win good results, and then have the opportunity to be promoted to the general administration of sports. If He Tian really didn't participate in the competition this time and the swimming team didn't get good results, his hope would probably be dashed." "Uncle, I was wrong," Jiao Lihong said. "I really didn't expect He Tian to be so lucky. She was poisoned, but she was able to clear the poison so quickly and nothing happened. Don't use your grandmother's messy things in Yanjing. If something unexpected happens, no one can protect you," Director Jiao said. "Just expel you from the national team, and the local team won't want you. Don't even think about participating in the competition in the future." Jiao Lihong nodded repeatedly and said, "I know I was wrong, I really know I was wrong. I will never do such a thing again." "This is the best time," Director Jiao said. "I remind you well not to think about those crooked ways. You are very talented, really very talented. Even if you don't win the championship this time, you can get the silver medal. You are still young, but He Tian will choose to retire after participating in the Olympics. At that time, as long as you work hard, it will be your world. The next World Championships, the next Olympics, that's when you can show your talent. Why rush for the moment?" "Yes, uncle, I know, I really know I was wrong." Jiao Lihong has been fidgeting for a while. Now that her second uncle scolded her, she feels much more at ease. Director Jiao nodded and said, "Remember, don't do anything, play well." "Well, I will play well and do my best," Jiao Lihong said, and threw those things into the toilet after returning, and never thought about crooked ways again. "Then go back, don't panic," Director Jiao said. "In order to avoid being seen as guilty by others, just pretend that nothing happened. I have suppressed the previous things and will not reinvestigate them in the future. This is the best time. If you don't listen, I will never tolerate you again." "No, never again," Jiao Lihong promised again and again. "Okay, wipe your tears, go out, have a good rest, and play well." Director Jiao patted his niece on the shoulder to cheer her up, still hoping that she can only get a good result and live up to his training for so many years. Well, Jiao Lihong wiped her tears and came out of the office. After returning to the room, she opened her package and went to find the bottle of banned drugs. But when she saw that the original full bottle of medicine was only half a bottle now, she was shocked. She had clearly received the whole bottle, so how come there was only half a bottle left? Jiao Lihong was sure that she was not mistaken. In that case, someone must have moved her package. This thing cannot be kept, Jiao Lihong said as she took the bottle of medicine and ran to the bathroom. As soon as she poured the pills into the toilet, she heard hurried footsteps outside. Jiao Lihong didn't care about anything else and quickly pressed the toilet to flush the pills in the toilet. Head coach Wu and team Dr. Li and others had already rushed in. "Wait," head coach Wu said, but he had already seen Jiao Lihong flush the medicine away, leaving only a bottle in her hand. "What is this?" The medicine bottle in Jiao Lihong's hand was seen by several leaders who came in. How did these people know that she had banned drugs in her hand? Also, who had moved her medicine before? And who notified the leaders? Jiao Lihong couldn't guess who it was. Although she didn't take stimulants, she was caught in the act now. She had to find a suitable reason. "I'm sorry, Coach Wu," Jiao Lihong said. "Before, I was thinking about winning the championship all day long. I heard someone say that taking this medicine can increase speed. I knew there was a problem. Although I spent money to buy it, I didn't take it. I flushed it all down the toilet." Team Dr. Li took the bottle and looked at it, nodded to Coach Wu and said, Yes, it is a kind of stimulant. The side effects are small, but it is also easy to be detected. Coach Wu looked at Jiao Lihong with great pain. This is a good seedling besides He Tian Tian. After He Tian Tian retires, Jiao Lihong will be the best athlete. How can you use stimulants? Seeing everyone's disappointed expressions, Jiao Lihong was anxious and hurriedly explained, Coach, Team Dr. Li, I really didn't take it. I figured it out. Sports competitions can't rely on these things, only hard work and talent. Many people praise me for my talent, but I can't achieve the best because I don't work hard, so I figured it out and really didn't take it. If you don't trust me, you can give me a urine test. There will be absolutely no problem. Although Coach Wu was very angry, he also knew that he had to calm down now. It was impossible to make a temporary substitution. He just hoped that Jiao Lihong really didn't take stimulants. Dr. Li, please test Jiao Lihong's urine carefully, Coach Wu said, not only because there was no time to make substitutions during the game, but also because Jiao Lihong's uncle was Director Jiao and he also came here this time. If Jiao Lihong really used stimulants, even if Director Jiao came, there would be nothing to say. But if doping is not used, even if there are doping drugs in hand, the punishment cannot be done before the game. Everything will be punished after the game. Okay, my assistant and I will check it carefully. Team Dr. Li said seriously, you'd better talk to Director Jiao about this. She is not only an athlete, but also Director Jiao's niece. Jiao Lihong secretly regretted, why did she bring this thing in? And now it's clear that someone targeted her and stole half of her bottle of pills. If someone with ulterior motives took her medicine and took it himself, or drugged someone else, since the medicine flowed out of her, naturally the relationship cannot be ignored. Thinking that someone might put the blame on her, Jiao Lihong became anxious, but she didn't dare to say anything, for fear that the picture would get darker and darker. She told her uncle first, how to deal with it. Coach Wu took this matter very seriously and quickly asked Team Dr. Li to examine Jiao Lihong. If there are any problems with Jiao Lihong's examination, she will not be allowed to compete directly to avoid affecting the country's image. I recommend Kikai's own new book Rebirth of Sweet Wife, The Strongest Agent. After being reborn, Mo Xiaomi felt that it was imperative to embrace her. Unexpectedly, I picked up a third leg. Guyans was angry. If he hugged him wrongly, he would hug him wrongly for the rest of his life. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1188. 1187. After all, Huaxia's sports industry has been steadily improving. Without Jiao Lihong, the overall results can be good, and there cannot be any negative news. After Jiao Lihong went for the drug test, she went to see Director Jiao. Coach Wu did not dare to let Jiao Lihong act alone, so he sent two people to follow Jiao Lihong. Not only gave Jiao Lihong a urine test, but also gave urine tests to all other team members, and began to search every team member's suitcase and room. Director Jiao was very busy, but when he heard his niece's voice coming in panic, he was a little worried and quickly let her in. Uncle, you must save me this time. If you don't save me, my life will be over, Jiao Lihong said hurriedly, holding onto her uncle's arm and asking for his help. Director Jiao didn't understand, frowned, and asked, what happened to you? Didn't you just say it well? If you don't prepare well for the game now, you will do these things all day long. Jiao Lihong couldn't care about anything else. Now that she had been caught, she was worried that things would become more and more complicated. Uncle, I couldn't think of it and bought a bottle of stimulants, Jiao Lihong said, very anxious. What? Director Jiao was stunned. What did you say? Stimulants. Have you taken stimulants? Jiao Lihong shook her head and said, No, uncle, I didn't eat. Originally, I wanted to give it to others, but after hearing uncle's advice, I didn't dare to do those crazy things. But I went back to the room and found illegal drugs. I wanted to throw it away, but when I was about to throw away the medicine, I found that there was only half a bottle in it. Before Coach Wu and Team Dr. Li came, I had no idea that they knew about it. I was just scared and wanted to. Illegal drugs were thrown away, and I felt like someone stole the drugs from my hand and framed others to blame me. Hearing this, Director Jiao reached out and slapped Jiao Lihong hard on the face, and cursed, I don't train well, so I just think of these crooked ways. Don't think you are smart, others are fools, don't you know your stupid actions? In fact, it has already fallen into the eyes of others. If the person takes the stimulants himself, that's fine. But if someone takes the medicine you bought for someone else, or frames he tian, you will be guilty. Jiao Lihong ignored the pain and quickly explained to her uncle, not wanting to be framed. Uncle, I really didn't do it. I just wanted to throw away the medicine, but I don't know why the medicine disappeared. Jiao Lihong said, I put it in the suitcase. It was very hidden and no one knew about it. By the way, and no one has entered my room since today. This room is more advanced and I don't have a room card, so I can't go in at will. Director Jiao was so angry that he was shaking all over, this idiot. Since no one can enter at will, it is obviously not done by outsiders, nor is it done by the waiter looking through your luggage. It may be done by the people in your room. Director Jiao said, who is the team member in your room? Jiao Lihong was stunned. Obviously she couldn't believe Director Jiao's speculation, and said, no. Impossible. Humph. Idiot. Director Jiao said, impossible? How do you know it's impossible? Tell me, who is it? Jiao Lihong almost cried. She didn't believe it was her good friend who did it. My teammate in the same room is Cai Fenfang. Jiao Lihong said, but we are usually very good, she should. How do you know not? Director Jiao said coldly, let me ask you one last question, have you ever taken stimulants? Jiao Lihong shook her head and said, no, uncle, I really didn't take it. When Coach Wu and Team Dr. Li caught me cleaning up the pills, I had already woken up and didn't take them at all. I had already done a urine test. There will be no problem. When Director Jiao heard this, he calmed down from his anger. The situation was not the worst. As long as the urine test is passed, Director Jiao can let Jiao Lihong participate in the competition. As long as we have good results in the competition, everything after that will be easy to deal with. If he is doping, he will immediately withdraw from the competition and be kicked out of the national team. Even if he is the director, he cannot protect him. Well, after you go back, stay in the room and don't go anywhere. I'll go find Coach Wu. Director Jiao said. In order for his niece to participate in the competition smoothly, he could only risk his old face and ask Coach Wu for help. Agree to Coach Wu's requirements. Hearing her uncle's words, Jiao Lihong felt a little relieved. After returning home, I hid in my room and didn't dare to speak. The other team members didn't know about Jiao Lihong, so they didn't look at her strangely. In the evening, Cai Fenfang came back from outside and was in a good mood. Jiao Lihong looked up at Cai Fenfang and asked, did you touch my things? Cai Fenfang was stunned for a moment, a little surprised, and asked, Lihong, what's wrong with you? When will I touch your things? Seeing that Cai Fenfang didn't seem to be faking, Jiao Lihong hesitated again. If Cai Fenfang didn't know, then if she said it, wouldn't there be one more person who knew? Jiao Lihong stopped talking, but stared at the roof with wide eyes. Lihong, what's wrong with you? What happened? Cai Fenfang asked anxiously, worried that something might happen to Jiao Lihong. If it were before, Jiao Lihong would have told Cai Fenfang now, but after experiencing such a thing, she didn't believe anyone anymore, and she did as her uncle said without telling anyone. It's okay, I'm just a little tired, Jiao Lihong said. Okay, I'm going to rest first. You should also rest early. Jiao Lihong, with her back to Cai Fenfang, did not see Cai Fenfang's proud expression. When Cai Fenfang saw that Jiao Lihong didn't say anything, she had to go back to rest. Let's say that Director Jiao went to find Coach Wu personally. Seeing Coach Wu's serious expression, he felt a little uneasy. Old Wu, I'm here to apologize for you this time, Director Jiao said. I really didn't know that there were illegal drugs in Lihong before. She just went to tell me that she almost went astray before. But fortunately, I stopped at the edge and didn't take any medicine, Director Jiao said, feeling aggrieved. When did he talk down to this old Wu like this? Coach Wu despises Director Jiao in his heart, but now is the Olympic period, and he doesn't want to break up with Director Jiao because of this matter. If it affects the Olympic results and the country's image, they will be the sinners of history. This matter is currently under investigation, Coach Wu said. Not many people know about it. If Jiao Lihong passes the urine test, I will also let her participate in the competition. But if she fails the urine test, she will withdraw from the game directly. After all, tomorrow the opening ceremony is here, and the competition starts the day after tomorrow. You know better than me how important this Olympics is to us. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1189. 1188. Hearing this, Director Jiao was slightly relieved. Old Wu still had the overall situation in mind, and things might turn around. It's clear, of course it's clear, Director Jiao said. Thank you for being accommodating. By the way, just now Lihong was afraid and didn't tell everything. She said that her medicine turned out to be a whole bottle, unopened, but when I was about to throw it away, I found that there was only half a bottle left, and I don't know who had stolen half of it. What? Coach Wu asked in shock. Then Jiao Lihong, how dare Jiao Lihong? She actually didn't tell him the truth, leaving him unaware of the inside story and very passive. If all the drugs were put into the athletes' drinking water and meals, their swimming team would probably be wiped out and become the biggest scandal of the century. Upon seeing this, Director Jiao quickly comforted him and said, Old Wu, I have already beaten Lihong. Now is not the time to get angry. We have to clean up the follow-up matters quickly to avoid mistakes. Coach Wu was so angry that he said, Director Jiao, if there is a doping scandal this time, I will report it to the superiors truthfully. Director Jiao was very anxious and said, we have something to discuss. This time Lihong was wrong, but she really didn't take stimulants. We don't know yet whether she has eaten or not, Coach Wu said, but if someone uses doping to frame others or makes a big fuss, even if we achieve good results this time, we will be punished. In this regard, you are better than I know better. Yes, I know, Director Jiao said. That's why I came to tell you how we can make this matter a big deal and make it a trivial matter, and try not to alarm the higher UPS. Coach Wu also hopes to achieve good results this time and reach a higher level. Even if he cannot, he can retire with success and become a famous head coach. It would be best if nothing happens. Then let people search quickly now, Coach Wu said. I have to ask Team Dr. Li and the team members to do a urine test overnight. The results must be available tomorrow morning. I hope the two results can identify who has used doping. He Tian was drinking water and watching TV in the room when she heard a notice from outside asking them to do a urine test again. Although she is a female doctor, He Tian feels embarrassed every time. However, this is the request of the team, and He Tian must comply with it. Everyone was also very curious and talked about it, but no one dared to question it loudly. Jiao Lihong was very silent and kept her head down. This should be the consequence of her I hope there will be no doping. Cai Fenfang also lowered her head, her eyes twinkling, wishing she could do a few more urine tests, so that her goal would be achieved. The gold medal is closer to her. After finishing, He Tian returned to the room. I muttered, I don't know what's going on. 2 urine tests. When did the Olympics become so strict? Haha, it's a big event, so it's better to be strict, He Tian said. We have to check anyway, so there's no need to take it to heart. Go take a shower and rest early. The opening ceremony will be tomorrow. Yes, I nodded, maintaining good physical strength and striving for good results. After I washed up, she dried her hair and fell asleep quickly. He Tian was lying on the bed and was about to go to bed when Huo Yingji came and created a barrier to isolate I next to her. You're here, He Tian smiled, not surprised by her husband's sudden appearance. Huo Yingji smiled, sat sideways on the bed, and said, haha, luckily I came this time and found something interesting. Oh, He Tian was surprised, tell me, if you have anything interesting, tell me. Haha, Jiao Lihong brought stimulants, Huo Yingji said, this topic must be of interest to my little wife. He Tian was stunned and said in shock, stimulants? Did Jiao Lihong take stimulants? No wonder I had 2 urine tests today. Could it be that I found something? Jiao Lihong didn't eat, but someone wanted to borrow a knife to kill someone and reap the benefits, Huo Yingji said. He Tian looked at the problem a bit too easily. Who wants to frame Jiao Lihong? He Tian asked hurriedly, Cai Fenfang. Is it her? Ah, Huo Yingji was surprised, how could you guess that? Haha, He Tian sneered, people like Cai Fenfang have never been good people. Compared to Jiao Lihong's badness, her badness is like a poisonous snake. She usually disguises herself very well and pretends to be flattering. Once she has the opportunity, I will come out and take a bite. Usually Cai Fenfang is Jiao Lihong's follower, but I always feel that she has the ability to take advantage of Jiao Lihong. At the same time, if Jiao Lihong and Cai Fenfang are in the same room, it is more convenient than others. You guessed it right this time, Huo Yingji said, Jiao Lihong didn't take the stimulant. When she figured it out and wanted to throw it away, there was only half a bottle left in it, and the other half was taken by Cai Fenfang. He stole it and then went to anonymous Coach Wu to report Jiao Lihong anonymously. Then what? He Tian couldn't wait to hear what was coming next. Then Cai Fenfang attacked you, but Kui Ying found out. However, under my instruction, she did not expose it, but used her trick, Huo Yingji said, the water containing any stimulants has been processed by us. Hearing this, He Tian breathed a sigh of relief and said, fortunately you guys came with me, otherwise I would have been in trouble again. If I didn't win the championship, I would be accused of doping. That would be a total loss of face. Yes, Huo Yingji said, you can rest assured that we will protect you this time. Then how did you deal with it? He Tian asked, just let these 2 little bitches go like this. Although Jiao Lihong didn't do anything to me, she did have this intention. Coupled with the previous allergic incident, it's against me. I don't want to give this person a chance. I want her to pay for what she has done. As for Cai Fenfang, she has evil intentions and I don't want her to succeed. He Tian gave these people opportunities again and again because they thought it would be difficult for them to train hard and did not want to ruin their sports careers. But these people are always provocative and mischievous. Haha, that's natural, Huo Yingji said, I wanted to teach them a lesson before, but such a lesson was not heartbreaking for them, so I waited until now. Coming here this time was not only to protect He Tian, but also to punish these 2 unrepentant people. Ah, He Tian was curious, what is the punishment? You'll know tomorrow, Huo Yingji said mysteriously, okay, go to bed early. Just tell me, He Tian said coquettishly, tell me, tell me. Rebirth of the Leftover Girl Counterattack. Author, Qingfeng. Angel. Introduction. Others are reborn to show off their connotations. She wants to show off her figure. Sanyi's life slogan is to show off her small waist to make others envious, jealous, and hateful. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1190. 1189. Huo Yingzhe lay on her side and stayed with her quietly. When I woke up in the morning, Huo Yingzhe was gone. The meeting between the two last night was like a dream. Fortunately, He Tiantian has experienced many such things and is not surprised. He Tiantian was washing up when Fei came running over from outside in a hurry, her face pale. Fei, what's wrong? He Tiantian asked, is there a monster biting your tail behind? Fei was in shock. It took a while before she recovered and said, Teacher something big has happened. It's really scary. Oh my god, how dare they? What happened? He Tiantian was curious, and suddenly thought that what Huo Yingzhe said last night would be known tomorrow. In other words, could it be known now? Fei patted her chest and said, Teacher this is so shocking, we can't believe it, you know. You didn't tell me, how do I know? He Tiantian smiled, I just washed up and haven't gone out yet, what can I know? Only then did Fei realize that she had said a lot of useless things, but she couldn't be blamed. This was really the most serious thing she had ever seen. Jiao Lihong and Cai Fenfang were found to have stimulants in their urine tests. There were stimulants in both urines. Coach Wu has announced that they will withdraw from the competition and will be sent home immediately to await punishment. Fei said, oh my god, their results are good, and as long as they perform normally, they should be able to win medals, but they actually took such risks and used such a method is simply terrifying. Hearing this, He Tiantian suddenly realized that what Huo Yingzhe said about punishment turned out to be this. It's a good punishment to treat someone in his own way. Yes, it's sensational, He Tiantian said, why do they have to use that kind of thing? Nowadays, detection technology is very high, but we can't do that. Fortunately, we have found it out. If it was found out by the Olympic Games, if the official found out, it would not only be a withdrawal, but also a big scandal that would affect our country's image. When we went abroad, our leaders and coaches repeatedly ordered us to maintain the country's image. The two of them were really crazy to do such a thing for their own performance. Fei still couldn't understand that it wasn't worth it. Fei didn't know the twists and turns, thinking that Jiao Lihong and Cai Fenfang wanted to achieve good results through stimulants, but she didn't know that Jiao Lihong and Cai Fenfang didn't even think about using them themselves, they just wanted to frame others. But the target of their frame-up was He Tiantian. He Tiantian is an expert at cheating. With so many powerful people around him, how could it be possible for the two of them to succeed? Okay, they can't think about it, that's their own business. Some people have done something wrong, and they have to pay the price for what they have done. He Tiantian said, the wrong way is never the right path. Fei, you are really talented. After I retire, you have to work hard and you will definitely get a gold medal in the future. Fei nodded and said, yeah, thank you, teacher I couldn't straighten my mind in front of you before, but I learned a lot from you and gradually accepted you. Following excellent people, I also became excellent, I will work harder. Well, that's good. He Tiantian nodded. If Fei can really shine in this or the next Olympics or World Championships, she will consider working with Fei to make her a sportswoman. Star. When the two came out, there were already people fighting outside. At this time, He Tiantian also happened to see Jiao Lihong. Cai Fenfang's eyes were red, and she led this person away. In the room before, they had cried and made a fuss, saying that they were wronged and innocent, but they found the same stimulant as Jiao Lihong in Cai Fenfang's luggage, almost half a bottle of it, and the most important thing was stimulants were detected in their urine tests. This is the last straw that breaks the camel's back. Even if director Jiao wanted to be partial and help his niece, he couldn't do it anymore. In the face of national justice and national image, director Jiao is powerless. At the same time, director Jiao was also angry because his niece actually deceived him and refused to tell him the truth. If Jiao Lihong tells the truth to him, director Jiao will immediately find a reason not to let her participate in this competition. Maybe she can hide the scandal without being punished and wait until the next Olympics or World Championships to compete again. It won't affect it at all. But now that doping has been detected and it has become known to everyone, my niece's career is probably over. As for Cai Fenfang, who is not a good person and actually stole stimulants and used them for herself, she is also an extremely stupid person. No matter what, send these two troublesome people away quickly. He is still leading the team to compete in the Olympic Games. Coach Wu called people over and warned everyone not to tell me to avoid leaking the scandal. Everyone was still frightened, and at the same time they felt that these two people were crazy. How could they dare to say that? After all, director Jiao is still here. However, everyone is also guessing whether director Jiao tacitly approved of Jiao Lihong's use of stimulants. Things have come to a head. Director Jiao not only has to make arrangements for the national team, but also writes a report to the country to explain that his niece's matter has nothing to do with him. After receiving the report back home, the deputy director of the national swimming team was immediately transferred to take over director Jiao's job. Since director Jiao is familiar with the up and down matters, he assists the deputy director. Director Jiao can't complain yet. Who caused his niece to have an accident? As for whether it is related to him, it is still under investigation. In order to put aside the relationship with his niece's doping incident, director Jiao not only worked hard, but also was friendly and caring to the athletes below. However, the impact has appeared, and even if no one talks about it on the surface, everyone still talks about it privately. Fortunately, the opening ceremony began and everyone's attention shifted to the game. This is the second time that country H has participated in the Olympic Games, but the number of participants and the number of events have exceeded that of most countries, second only to country M Russia and several other countries. Recommended Eufeia's new article Rebirth of the 1980s Splendid Military Wedding. Returning to the mountain village, she wants to beat the best and kick the scum, protect her family, and paint a beautiful life with the magic pen in her hand. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1191. 1190. At the forefront this time is the shooter who broke 0 gold medals for country H in the last Olympics. This time it is also a favorite to compete for the gold medal. In order to get good results, everyone works hard. He Tian followed her teammates, wearing a red t-shirt and a white skirt that was 5 centimeters above the knees. The tops of the male team members were similar to those of female athletes, and they were white pants. No matter what the important occasion is, bright red has always been the main color. This dress was designed by Zhang Wenwen herself. It has many patterns of auspicious clouds and a 5-star red flag on the chest, which is very beautiful. Including He Tian, many athletes like this sportswear very much. Good looking, fashionable, and comfortable. Everyone was walking in the queue, and the announcer introduced the passing countries and athletes. Although He Tian was not the first to walk, she was also the one who walked in front. Her hair that was spread down just reached her shoulders, revealing her delicate little face. The facial features are even more exquisite, with big round eyes and slightly upturned eyes, a full forehead, a pretty and straight nose, bright red lips, and a slim figure. This is the Olympic Games, broadcasted by many countries, including Country H of course. Grandma Wang was watching the live broadcast at home. Several children asked for leave directly. The teacher was also more open-minded and let them go home to watch HT Nation's live broadcast. The reason why the teacher agreed so readily was because the child had good academic performance and asking for leave would not delay his grades. Also, the Snake King Li Xian had a good-looking face and followed the teacher to wink at him, give him gifts, and say a lot of good things. Ask for leave. Hey, I have spent a lot of effort for you little bastards, the Snake King said, my face is full of smiles. Haha, my cousin is the most handsome, Huo Ruimin praised, my cousin is the best. Not bad, he is a conscientious person, Snake King said, sitting on the chair, smiling proudly. Huo Ruwa brought a cup of sour plum soup and said, cousin, this is the sour plum soup made by Aunt Lu. You can drink some to cool down. You're not bad either, the Snake King praised the child for his sharp eyesight. Huo Jian quickly rubbed the Snake King's shoulders and said, cousin, are you strong enough? Yeah, okay, it will be better if you use more force. Snake King squinted his eyes comfortably and shook his head. Huo Xiaosan and Huo Xianxian, one on the left and one on the right, beat the Snake King's legs. At this time, the Snake King completely enjoyed the treatment like a king. Cousin, are you comfortable? Huo Xiaosan asked. Once he feels comfortable serving his cousin, he can take time off to watch TV every day. Comfortable, okay, don't worry. I will continue to ask for leave for you in 3 days, Snake King said, but after watching the live TV broadcast, you must prepare and review your homework carefully, and you must not fall behind in your grades, otherwise I will not be considered good. No matter how good looking or well spoken you are, the teacher will never agree to it. Yeah, it's my cousin, the children said in unison. Grandma Wang saw them chatting and reminded, the opening ceremony has begun, come on, watch TV. After hearing Grandma Wang's reminder, they immediately looked at the TV and couldn't take their eyes away. At the opening ceremony, other countries just looked around and waited for the Chinese team. Mom, that's Mom, Huo Xiaosan said, I saw Mom. Yeah, I saw it too. Huo Xianxian was excited and held Huo Xiaosan's hand. Huo Ruwa and Huo Ruimin were also very excited and stared at the TV. As if he had a premonition, He Tiantian raised her head and waved, as if greeting relatives and friends outside the TV. Mom is so beautiful. Mom is the prettiest. Mom is so awesome. Several children started praising their mothers. Not only Grandma Wang watched it, but also Mr. Huo, Mrs. Huo and a bunch of old men and women watched it together. While watching, comment on athletes from various countries. Looking back and forth, the bright red color of Country H is still more beautiful. Of course, Mrs. Huo always thought that her grandson's daughter-in-law was the prettiest. After the opening ceremony, everyone cheered on the field, very happy and excited, and the celebration sports meeting began. Everyone praised He Tiantian, which made the Chinese team full of energy. Brothers and sisters, your grandson-in-law is really amazing, Mrs. Tang said, she is so spirited. As long as she wins the gold medal, it will be a great honor. Haha, your daughter-in-law is not bad either, Mrs. Huo said, that girl Jinmin is good-looking and filial. She is a perfect match for your little four. We have been neighbors for decades, so we naturally understand what the other person cares about. What Mrs. Tang cared about most was her youngest son. When Mrs. Huo praised her, she beamed with joy. I didn't expect it, I really didn't expect it, Mrs. Tang said. I always dreamed that Xiaoxi would have a good life, but at that time Xiaoxi was emotionally unstable and worried to death. Fortunately, Jinmin was there. That's true. Thank you Tian. She and Jinmin are still sisters, so they are very good. So, when looking for a daughter-in-law, we can't completely follow the elders' ideas and let the younger generation find it on their own. As long as they are not shady, as long as the children are optimistic about it, it will be fine. Mrs. Huo said, the younger generations of our two families are at peace. Look at those people who are making trouble at home all day long because of women outside, they look dilapidated. That's right, Mrs. Tang said, chanting Buddha's name in her heart. In a place where there are many old women, it is natural that the most discussed people are the younger ones. You said it, I praised it, and the Huo family received the most praise. After the opening ceremony, we went down and started the game. The 1988 Summer Olympics in South Korea lasted for 15 days from September 17 to October 2. A total of 8,465 athletes from 159 countries and regions participated, including women. There are 2,186 athletes and 6,279 male athletes. The Olympic Committee sent a total of 299 people to participate, ranking 11th among participating countries. This time the mascot is a little tiger, a very cute doll. Tian liked it very much. When she went back, there was only one child at home. There are 23 events in this Olympic Games, with tennis and table tennis newly added. Performance events include taekwondo, baseball, badminton, and nogi judo, which are popular in South Korea. Tian didn't know what the Olympics was like in her previous life, but she was extremely sure that there would be some changes because of her arrival. Swimming is a relatively large event in the sports meeting, and more people participate. The sudden withdrawal of two female team members from country H caused a great impact internally, but it did not have much impact abroad because the swimming team of country H did not have much influence and has not won a gold medal so far. Nothing to worry about. Tian secretly made up her mind to work hard and achieve good results. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1192. 1191. When he came back to rest in the evening, Huo Yingji came over to stay with his wife and spend important moments in his life with her. Of course, Sci-fi in the same dormitory slept very soundly and would not wake up even if it thundered and rained. Because Huo Yingji used a barrier to cover him. Huo Yingji came over, hugged Tian gently and said, "Don't worry, your grades are very good, just use your usual strength." Tian nodded and said, "Well, I will try my best. Is there anything else you can say?" "Let me think about it." Huo Yingji thought carefully about the Olympic Games in his previous life, but there were many black whistles and there were many unfair places. When you show your usual strength, try to be very standardized so that others can't find it your mistake. You can't pick out the bones from the eggs. "You said someone blew a whistle?" Tian asked. Huo Yingji nodded and said, "Yes, but you can rest assured. Your entire swimming process will be videotaped, especially when you turn around and end. As long as you do well, even if those people want to use some small means, they will not be able to do it at all. It is also a paper tiger in front of the powerful forces." Tian nodded and said, "I understand, don't worry." The two talked about a lot of precautions, and Huo Yingji didn't leave until Tian fell asleep. The next day, the competition began. Originally, Bai Qianjiao and He Jingyu were going to watch Tian compete, but Bai Qianjiao didn't come due to health reasons, so they watched the live broadcast at home. Because of the time difference, the family stayed up late to watch the live broadcast. Tian's strong figure and absolute speed allowed him to qualify first in the group stage in 3 events on the first day. Every time Tian appears, people around her will cheer. No matter who she is, everyone likes this powerful woman known as Swimming Barbie. This little oriental woman has a lot of energy in her body and is more powerful than those foreign women with long legs and feet, so she can always swim to the finish line in the first time. After a whole day of high-intensity competition, Tian was a little tired, but after drinking water, Tian was able to maintain her strength in the shortest time. The water here was prepared by Huo Yingji personally for Tian. Not only can it relieve fatigue, but it can also replenish physical strength. He Tian amazed the audience who likes travel sports with her achievements time and time again. He Tian participated in 8 events, preliminaries, and finals. She had to compete in a total of 32 games to complete her Olympic journey. However, the swimming competition lasted for 5.5 days in total, and He Tian had to compete in an average of 7 competitions every day. Because of He Tian's outstanding achievements, half of China's live broadcasts are about He Tian. The reason why he is willing to live broadcast He Tian is, on the one hand, because He Tian is good looking and famous, on the other hand, because his results are so good, he is the favorite to win the championship. There are 100-meter, 200-meter, 800-meter freestyle, breaststroke, and butterfly respectively 100-meter and 200-meter, and the last event is the team freestyle relay competition. Swimming Barbie appears in newspapers almost every day, not only in newspapers in each country, but also in local newspapers in South Korea, as well as newspapers in European and American countries. Everyone marveled at He Tian's speed, and at the same time marveled at her beauty. What is even more talked about is her resume, which has been unearthed by many newspapers and aroused heated discussions. Huo Yingji saw his wife in high spirits every day, and he was also happy, as long as she was happy. His wife was just that good, and those compliments were well deserved. On the third day, the swimming competition finals began, and He Tian had to use all his strength to compete for this competition. Today is the time for the 100-meter freestyle competition. He Tian is on the third track, standing on the stage, waiting for the starting gun. Everyone looks at He Tian more when they pass by her. They don't understand why there is so much energy in such a small body. He Tian smiles when she faces everyone, because she knows that there are many cameras facing her now, and she cannot show a bad expression and be recorded. He Tian was already ready. When she heard the starting gun, she immediately jumped into the water, waving her long, powerful, and slender arms, like a mermaid, quickly shuttled through the water. At this time, the water essence in the palm of He Tian's hand shone brightly, as if it could provide He Tian with more abilities. He Tian won the championship with a time of 48.52 that broke the world record, causing a sensation in the audience. He Tian held the 5-star red flag in her hand and told everyone that country H won the championship. After that, he also won the 200-meter freestyle in a record-breaking manner. In the 800-meter, He Tian was unstoppable and won consecutive championships. 2 of the 3 events broke records. Seeing that He Tian had such good results, some people reported that He Tian used stimulants because they could not explain why He Tian had so much energy in such a small body and could still achieve such good results. He Tian walks upright, sits upright, and is not afraid at all. Zhu's Hitao, head coach Wu, team Dr. Li and his assistant came together to accompany He Tian for a urine test. For the results of the Olympic urine test, staff from the participating countries and members of the Olympic Committee inspection team must be present at the same time to collect urine and prepare 2 bottles of urine samples. Don't be afraid, Xiao Hu will be with you, Coach Wu said. The results are too good, but there is also trouble. He Tian smiled and said, it's okay. I'm doing everything according to the team's requirements. It'll be fine. You don't have to worry. I see you are sweating nervously. These are 3 gold medals. It's exciting just thinking about it. Haha, that's right, it's okay. Teacher, he knows the importance, unlike those 2 idiots, Zhu's Hitao whispered, our results are real and effective. He Tian followed Xiao Hu, a staff member from China, and the inspectors from the Olympic Committee who were present at the same time to collect urine for examination. Huo Yingji was worried that someone was causing trouble and followed him the whole time. The test results came out the next day, all negative, and the results were valid. He Tian won 3 gold medals, and Coach Wu, Zhu's Hitao, and others told him one after another. Hitia Nation's current results are those of the swimming team, which are very impressive. Including Sci-fi, 11 Wrong, and others, the results were also good. Although they did not win the gold medal, they won the silver and bronze medals. They made some gains and everyone was happy. Hitian still has 5 competitions, and there are still 3 finals today. Yesterday's report didn't work, let them know that the swimming Barbie in country H did not use doping. When they saw Hitian that day, their eyes were full of admiration. Some people in South Korea also participated in swimming today, and there were also female athletes entering the finals of the 100-meter butterfly stroke.